Welcome to the Luxembourg Private Equity Association podcast series, Carried Interest Unpacked. Today, we'll be exploring main tax and legal considerations surrounding carried interest in Luxembourg. I am Bertrand Droulez from the Tax Advisory Department of BDO, and I'll be joined by Alexandra Clouté, partners in the tax practice at Ashurst, and Xavier Rodaro, Group Tax Manager at Castik Capital. It's really great to have you both with us. To set the scene for our audience, Xavier, carried interest is often seen as a niche topic. Could you briefly explain what it is and why it matters so much in asset management?
Yeah. Thank you, Bertrand, for the introduction. So, in simple words, carried interest is a right for the holder under certain conditions to have a shares of an investment fund. In general, we allocate the carry interest to the employees of an IFM, to the investment team, to the founders, or also sometimes to the senior advisor dealing with the management, actively dealing with the management of the investment funds. And in terms, I would say, as a GP, so in terms of the added value for the industry, the carry interest is really an incentive. If you are talking about attraction of talents, retention, and also a compensation, for instance, next to fixed salary or a payout. And yeah, this variable, let's say, which is linked to the performance of the fund, is also kind of aligning on the management goals with the investor results.
It's a great overview and it highlights the importance of carried interest to the alternative investment industry. Alexandra, based on your experience advising clients across the industry, why has Luxembourg become a key jurisdiction for structuring Luxembourg carried interest vehicles?
In terms of what makes Luxembourg really stand out is that it has become a go-to jurisdiction to manage and to centralize carried interest in a very efficient way, even when the team is fully international. In practice, you need one central vehicle to accommodate different tax profile, different seniorities, evolving team dynamic over time, and Luxembourg really gets you the tool to achieve this goal in a very flexible and predictable way. In terms of flexibility, we have in Luxembourg an extensive toolbox where you can structure your carry vehicle as a partnership, as a corporate entity, or even a mix to tailor the structure to the needs of the team or the corporate governance needs. With the structuring, you can make the vehicle tax efficient, broadly tax neutral, in order also to accommodate the tax position of the beneficiaries across jurisdiction. And just broadly, Luxembourg is a main investment fund hub where the ecosystem is quite flexible and navigates very well those vehicles.
Okay, so we have flexibility, certainty, and a strong ecosystem as key ingredient. Let's try now to focus a bit more on the tax side. What are the main advantages Luxembourg offers in terms of carried interest tax regime?
What makes Luxembourg very interesting with the new tax regime is that it is both very attractive and much clearer than before. Even the scope of beneficiary enlarged to any Luxembourg resident individuals involved in the management of the fund in some ways. And if I put it simply, the new tax regime for carried interest can be put in two scenarios. The first one, you receive carried interest without an investment, like a performance-based bonus, meaning that you will get a very attractive rate that is reduced to 1/4 of the personal income tax rate. In practice, it means 10 to 12%, which is very competitive. And second, you invest in the structure and you hold your carry via participation. So you're more in a capital gain type of logic, which you arrive to a full exemption on the income you receive, subject to conditions, obviously, but these conditions are in practice very realistic. You need to hold the carried interest participation for at least 6 months, and it needs to represent less than 10% of the total commitment of the fund. But I think beyond the tax rate, what makes the real game changer for the Luxembourg carry regime is its simplicity and its clarity, in the sense that we remove all limitation, we remove the incidence of the legal form of the fund in the structuring, and it makes Luxembourg really a unique place where we get tax efficiency, flexibility, and legal certainty, and I think that's what sponsors and beneficiaries are looking for today.
Okay, and that clarity point is really interesting, especially given how complex these structures can get in practice. Xavier, according to you, what makes Luxembourg such an attractive place when implementing carried interest plans?
Yes, so from a practical perspective, what, in my view at least, what makes Luxembourg really attractive is the ease of implementation and of your carry structure and the management. When you set up a fund structure, you do not have only to choose the jurisdiction, but also have work on a plan through the lifetime of your fund, in terms of course, fundraising, promotion, marketing of it, and acquisition, exits, and at the level of your assets, but as well for your investors and I mean your team which is investing in it, being able to handle entries, additional allocation, levers, or changes in the holding structure, and I think then you need to, it's important to have like to build it around the right place, and in that respect, in my view, Luxembourg has really built up a strong expertise in carried interest structure. The operating framework is quite efficient with standardized documentation. We have a strong market practice here in Luxembourg with advisor and service provider who are really like know the work and are really used to work on carried interest structure. So at the end of the day, it's as a result of all this, it's also like enabling you to easily achieve the implementation in a smooth and a quick time frame, with limited to no constraint or unknown cost or formalities. And one other key point I would say is also that you can easily adapt your structure without going through a full re-engineering or a full restructuring against some changes, again, in terms of your team and in terms of the fund lifetime, or even sometimes on because of some changes in the tax framework. So all this makes it like a nice place to set up your structure and your carried interest structure. And if I may go also to your point here regarding the new carried interest regime, I think it's also like really going and calling for this kind of ease of implementation, because the new regime is there, it's true, but it does not require for your current setup, for instance, to be fully restructured. So it's really like going to, you can keep the structure as it is and work and apply the new regime. And so I think that makes also Luxembourg like interesting and like adding an additional point on this, considering that you do not have to go through a full new setup, which may sometimes be costly. And in that respect, I think as the full picture for that, this is kind of the reason why Luxembourg is an attractive place for setting up your carried interest structure.
It's clear that beyond the tax framework, the operational ease seems a major advantage. To wrap things up, let's look ahead a bit and consider the broader impact on the market. Do you see this new tax regime as a game changer for retaining and attracting talent in Luxembourg?
Yeah, if you're talking about the Luxembourg new carried interest tax regime, I definitely think it's a really nice additional tool for the Luxembourg financial sector. From my experience, I can see that there is a growing interest for Luxembourg with some strategic move coming in the pipe, and I would say that the carried interest is part of this momentum. What is nice to see is that you can also see that the current government is working toward like supporting its financial sector, and I believe and expect that there is more to come also in the future in that respect.
Thank you both for joining us and sharing this insight. Stay tuned for the next episode of Carried Interest Unpacked.